What is a word salad? What is a word salad? People hear this term, they maybe don't know what it means or they don't know when they've experienced it. And I'm going to just pop a light on here because I forgot to turn on a light and it's not turning on. There we go. Better? Nope, not better. Sorry. Oh. There we go. Some light and crazy hair. Let's start over. Anyway, word salad. That was kind of avoidance, right? That's kind of what word salad is. It's avoidance, okay? Word salad is when a narcissist uses a whole lot of words that are not necessary, usually and very often in writing to you, to deflect from something, to make accusations, to do anything they can to talk around a topic. It's a form of gaslighting to get you to not be able to stay on track with what you're talking about or what you're trying to have a conversation about or get information or answers from them. So let's just talk about it really quickly. Word salad is a form of gaslighting. It shuts down real communication. They may say things that defy logic when they're talking to you, when they're going through their word salads, right? Okay, so it's a circular talk. So some examples might be they might stay on the same topic. They might talk total nonsense. They might say the same phrases over and over and over again. For instance, if you're co-parenting with them, they may say things like, why do you always blah, blah, blah with the child? It is in the child's best interest, blah, blah, blah. And they'll use that same phrase over and over and over whenever they're trying to divert things that you need information about or divert things back to a topic that they want to just start making accusations and gaslight you for. So it can be repetitive conversation. So it's like you feel like you're having the same conversation over and over and over. And often these are in text, right? So you can go back and look at them and you can think, how can they, like, how do they not see that they're just saying the same thing over and over and over again? And what the heck are they doing? What do they want from me? All right. They say things that are very accusatory when they are in the word salad gaslighting. They will, you always, it's, why do you always? So they may say things like, just basically things that point the blame back to you about every little thing. Why are you being so difficult? Why don't you want to communicate? I'm trying to communicate with you here and you never answer me. You never try to talk to me like an adult. You always do this. You always do that. So those kind of things they will say when they are using word salad. They project and blame shift. All right. Don't need to explain that more, but basically, well, maybe I do. They will say things that are taking the things that they're doing this often comes up when they are trying to get away with something, when they are trying to not take accountability for something, or when they're trying to it's sort of like they preload the accusations because it's something they're going to do later. Does that make sense? Yeah. So then they will take all of the things they're planning on doing or they've already done, and they'll point it back at you and blame shift and project back. So they may say something and then pretend they did not say it, but then they change the subject and talk about something else when you're trying to talk about something really specific. Yeah. Basically, the confusing conversations that go on when you are reading, especially reading something when someone's saying it to you, it's almost like you just look at them like, have you lost your mind, right? But when it's in writing, it's the way they put it all together. It's like this monologuing, endless dialogue that completely changes the subject about the main thing you're talking about into something, even if you're not trying to talk to them, but basically you can't read through it and figure out what the question is unless you know how to read word salad. It's like reading a different language. Usually I'll have people ask me, like, can you read this and tell me what they're actually asking? And you go, first sentence, like, here's an example of the structure of a text or an email from a narcissist to someone when they're either trying to hoover or accuse you later, or especially when it relates to co-parenting or parallel parenting or whatever you want to call it in your world. It's never co-parenting, but we know that's parenting alongside, whatever. Or when you're talking about divorcing and you're trying to work things through so that you can finalize things. So it usually goes like this. First paragraph is either accusations. Why did you do this? Why were you late to that? Why didn't you sign this? Why did the kids have mud on their face? Like things that really don't matter, right? To you must be doing this because that, lots of accusations. Or I can't believe you've left. I miss you so much, blah, 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 the victim thing. Okay, so it's either the accusations or the victim. Then the next paragraph often is an entire paragraph to 3 paragraphs, usually like a little novella, right? About nothing. That's all accusations. It's all twisted words. It's the most confusing communication you'll ever read. So you just don't read that part. Then at the very bottom, there might be something like, what time were you going to pick the kids up anyway? There it is. There's the question. So there's all this to ask the one question that could have just been, what time you want to pick up the kids, right? But it's all buried in the word salad. And then the very last paragraph, more accusations, and then usually some blame shifting or something at the very end. And that's it. Frustrating, beyond frustrating to deal with this. So, yes, hi, Angela. It's super annoying. He'd always throw me off track. Yes, throws you off track because it's often when you're trying to have a conversation with them and you're trying to be like repair things, or, you think you can fix things in a relationship, or you think you can communicate better and you just feel like you're just starting to, and then bam, they hit you with the word salad. Super confusing. Makes no sense. It's all gaslighting. Why do they do it? Well, I just said they're trying to throw you off, right? They do it to deflect any accountability. That's number one reason. They do it to frustrate you. They do it to blame you so they don't have to take any responsibility for anything they're doing in their life. All right. And they do it to get a reaction. They do it because they don't want to take responsibility. And they do it to make you look bad and to make you say something back to them that will they want reactivity. So they're trying to create reactivity, and in their very best fantasy, reactive abuse coming out of your mouth, so that then they can say, see how you talk to me. So this is the kind of gaslighting that you really, really do best to gray rock. It's the kind of thing you just don't even want to deal with a word salad. It's like, no, thank you. I don't eat that, and pass it along. Bye. Don't want that. All right. What do you feel when you've had word salad? Usually people feel angry. They feel frustrated. They feel confused. They feel unheard. They don't get closure. They feel like, what just happened? Or what is this person asking? Or what are they even saying? I don't understand how I'm supposed to reply to this. I can't tell you how many people, both in group coaching and privately, have asked me to decipher what has been said in something because often they take it personal, right? So they say, well, what did I do? I feel terrible. Look what they said to me. And I read it, and from where I sit, I'm like, that's a bunch of word salad. They're not actually saying anything. That's the point. They're not actually saying anything. When they throw word salad at you, accusations, blame shifting, nonsense, it's not saying anything. It's repeating itself. It's just frustrating and annoying. Angela says frustrated, annoying, confused, and sad that I couldn't get through to him. Yeah, it is sad because you're sitting there trying to have a conversation and you can't get through to someone. You cannot, you can't be heard. You can't hear them because they're not actually saying anything. They're just a bunch of words coming at you. I can remember the form of word salad I got a lot was punitive punishment in the form of like talking to a child. Very like not that the way I would talk to a child, but as if they were talking to a child and being very stern and punishing and correcting everything that I supposedly did. But it was all stuff. It was such gaslighting because it was as if they were going back in their memory and hearing things that were said to them and spitting them out their mouth. Because I'm like, it was so strange. I'm thinking, those aren't things I actually do. And if I did, I would think I would recognize it at some level. and feel bad, but I don't actually feel bad. What I feel is confused. And why are you telling me these things? Then I'm thinking, wait, that sounds like something their mother might have said to them, or that sounds like something other women have said to them. And now they're spitting it out and pretending I'm the one that did it. So gaslighting, it's all gaslighting. And it's really it's their way of not having to communicate, period. And taking control and power in the situation. It's always about control, right? So have you experienced word salad, and what have you heard? Because it can really be anything, right? It's happening when you are lost in a conversation. It's circular conversation, but it's a specific kind where there's just so many words coming at you. It's like tangential, but then goes back to a topic that isn't the topic you were talking about, and then starts spinning and making these circular conversations back and back and back to the same thing over and over and over again. So even when being honest, I would have been more helpful and beneficial to him, he still couldn't be. Yeah. It's very frustrating and disheartening, super frustrating. And Jack, what are you saying here? Your son does it now. I've learned to shut it all down by turning it around on him and becoming calm. Yeah. And so let's talk about that. How do we deal with word salad? If you are in writing, let's say you're on Our Family Wizard with them, or you're on email, or you're on text. Number one, I'd say get off text if you're going no contact, and get onto one platform that you check when you feel like it once a day, not something they have access to every second in your pocket, right? So get off text. If you're still in this, let's talk about this first. If you're not in a relationship, you're low contact, and you have to receive text for whatever reason, keep it in one place. Keep it in one place that you control when you check, how you check, and when you choose to respond. Text, people expect immediate text and messenger. They expect immediate response, right? And we have the feeling of needing to give an immediate response, and that should not be there with them. They've given up that. All right. So keep it away from that. So say you have an email. So say you've done that. You have an email. How do you respond to it? You have an email that's like, so here's what I do. I read it. I go, whoa, that's a lot of word salad. That is like entirely, like most of that is nothing. What do I need to reply to? In this, I have to talk to them about the thing because the subject matters. Say the subject is something like child summer camp. Okay. Just making stuff up here. And so you're like, okay, I have to reply because I am part of that decision making. First paragraph, accusations about everything else going on wrong that they don't like about you. Second paragraph, word salad, nonsense. So you read through it and go, there is nothing in here I need to respond to. What they're trying to do is pull other arguments, pull other points, so that you will then come back with number one, this, number two, that, you said this, and they want you to defend yourself. They want the fight. They want the argument. They like it. So step away, step back, step out. You know what? That's nonsense. You don't need that drama in your life, and just find the question. Oh, there it is. Little Johnny wants summer camp this in 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. Yes or no? Sure. Why not? So you just reply yes to camp. That's it. That's it. No, go into the drama. Step away from it. So that was the best example I could come up with on the fly, but I hope that makes sense. Anyway, say they're in person with you talking. You're still in a relationship with them, and you're getting hit with word salad. Gray rock. Filter through your mind what you need to hear. You don't need to listen to accusations. You don't need to listen to gaslighting that's telling you did something you didn't do. You don't need to listen to, I mean, you don't need to take it in and internalize it and then feel something about it. You're going to feel frustrated. You're going to feel feelings, but you don't need to feel what they're trying to make you feel. Does that make sense? You listen, quiet, right? And when they're done, you do the same exact thing. You answer the question if there is one. And if there isn't one, you say, oh, I see. Or, oh, okay, I hear you. And you walk away. Gray rock is not a life. It's no way to live forever. It's a technique to help diffuse your own emotional response to the narcissist so that you can get some space and hopefully get away from them and, not be, it does help separate so that the trauma bonds aren't quite so enmeshed, right, with your functioning around them. So, yeah, what are we saying here? Hello, Jack. Let's see. Not to respond straight away. Okay, not to respond straight away and only respond to the tiny one thing and give nothing. Exactly. Don't give any mention to it. And you know what it does if you practice it? At first, it's frustrating because you want to talk back. You want to say, excuse me, I didn't do those things, or I don't even know what you're talking about. Of course I'm being conscientious. Of course I'm being this, because whatever they're going to accuse you of, right? Because they're always better than you and know better than you and have the, So, of course, we want to respond to that. But if you don't respond to it, what it does is it takes the importance of their nonsense and diminishes it if you do it enough times. Here's the thing. It's not that I want you to be a doormat and just give away everything to the narcissistic person and just be like, okay, whatever. That's not the point. The point is to keep you safe so that you're not spending the rest of your day spinning your wheels in your head, angry, angry and frustrated and feeling hearing the dialogue going over and over in your head and wanting to, I should have said this, I should have said that. Is to get rid of all that. It's the reason to gray rock and to keep things minimum is to protect you so that the rest of your life is not wrapped up around thinking about a toxic person. It's to minimize the importance of that toxic person. And if you have to be involved with them, such as a parenting situation together, work situation, money situations, job situations, things like that, or a parent that you have decided to stay low contact with, when they're in their word salad spewing, step away. Just step around it. Minimize, answer only the question that needs to be answered, and realize that you're not giving into them. You are disengaging from their drama. And that's it. That's all you're doing. And if you do it enough times with the right attitude inside your head, then you are free from the hook that they have on you, because what they're trying to do is make them the source of your feeling important and good about yourself. So you only feel good and important if they say you can. So when they're throwing all this word salad and all these accusations and all this crap at you, they're trying to control you. So if you step away from it, you're actually, or if you minimize the words you say, if you don't respond to the word salad, only respond to the questions, it first of all frustrates them. So it's kind of, but at the same time, it frees you from allowing or engaging in something that then gives somebody else power over how you feel about yourself. All right, that is my brief word salad talk. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about today? I realized I did not post an announcement coming on because the only way I was getting on today was just to do it. And so I didn't take the time. Sorry about that. But if you have anything for anyone that's in here, go ahead and talk. Otherwise, I will end here. Keep it short and sweet and talk to you guys later this week about something else. This is my first real exposure to this term. Okay, what's word salad? I will repeat. Hi, Hufflemom. Let's see. So word salad is when a person gaslights you by talking around a situation, talking through a situation, talking about other things when you're trying to talk about something else, talking about pretty much nonsense all around a topic. So say you, like I said, let's go back to the summer camp. Okay, we'll pretend that we'll go back to that scenario because this is literally all I can think of right now. Say someone is co-parenting with a narcissist or parenting alongside a narcissist. So, and they're not together anymore. Okay. So we'll just take that scenario. It's simple. And the person says, so the narcissist writes to, let's say the narcissist writes email because the child wants to go to summer camp and they need to both pay for it. right? So instead of saying, hey, little Timmy wants to go to summer camp. This is the date. These are the time. This is the cost. Can you help? Or would you participate? Or do you agree? That would be the normal way, right? They say accusations. You never did show up on time when blah, 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 and such and yada, yada, right? And then the next paragraph. I also wanted to talk to you about, and 5 million other points that have nothing to do with the actual question. And there are also things you don't have to answer, such as, I don't agree with the way you blah, blah, blah. Well, I frankly don't care if you agree with the way I blah, blah, blah. We're not living in the same house. You know what I mean? So, and it has nothing to do, you don't get to control that. You're not in my relationships. You're not in my life. You don't get to control that. You know how they do that. They'll throw things at you that are none of their business, it's not their place to say. So say that person's doing that, blah, 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 blah. And then their accusation. Word salad would be them then maybe the same thing over and over again. Words like, I'm the one who always seems to have to pick up all the slack. That's that kind of phrase. And they'll say it over and over. You always make me have to pick up all the slack. So because our child wants summer camp, I now have to find it. And I found it and here it is and blah, blah, blah. You pay for half. And that's how they word it. And so it's the only thing that the person actually needs in that, how much does it cost? When is it? And does it conflict with any other plans I have? That's all the person needs, right? But instead you get blah with words. And so I'm saying, instead of reading it as all of that, just figure out what the heck the person wants, answer the one or two questions very briefly, and then end it. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. Get projection accusations of word salad. Yes. I saw you last night with another woman, and they were like, what, I never wanted to be with another woman. Do you not realize that? And look up everything I've done. Look at everything I've done for you. Why do you punish me? Look, yeah. They just go, they can't just say, so yeah. So say you said, hey, I saw you, or my friend saw you out with some really pretty woman last night. What's that? And you say, and they say, instead of saying what, like if someone said that to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's someone from work. She was blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I should totally introduce you and blah, blah, blah. It's totally innocent, whatever. Instead, or, oh crap, I'm caught. Okay, let's talk about this, right? They say, what do you mean I was out with another person? I saw you the other day walking down the street and I saw 5 guys behind you and blah, blah, blah. And your friends always tell me you're talking to blah, blah, blah. And, so they go on and they pull from everywhere, everything around them instead of just addressing it. They talk about everything else to deflect. So Huffamom, the word salad is a way of deflecting the conversation or trying to evoke an argument out of you, trying to get a reaction out of you, trying to deflect any accountability or responsibility. It's gaslighting, but it's a form of gaslighting that uses a whole lot of words and a whole lot of nonsense and confusion. It's so confusing, it's hard to talk about without real life examples. If anyone has any real life examples, you are free to post some in the comments just so we can see how absolutely chaotic it is to try to understand what the person's saying. And also the problem is a lot of times when you're in a relationship with a narcissist and they're using this at you, you're feeling you're taking it in and you're feeling bad about yourself. You're feeling responsible. You're believing what's being said because you're being gaslit. That's a problem. If it was just a bunch of noise, you could just sit there and like tune out and then be like, yep, wow, that was a lot of words, but you can't because it's very accusatory and attacking, or it's very deflecting, or it's very like, if I said, I can remember saying something like, I'm just going to use why were you so late? I thought you were going to be here 3 hours ago. Yesterday you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And I don't know why, when I told you 15 times to do the thing, you didn't do the thing. And you're the one always talking about this. And why did that, so it's like, oh, you can't say, it keeps you walking on eggshells so that you can't say anything as well. So it does control and cap all conversation coming from you toward them that needs any communication, right? Okay, anything else today? Avoid, deflect, anything. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. If I missed anything and you asked a question, please repeat it. I'm going to just scroll back and just see. Gotcha, full mom. Okay. Okay. I guess that's it. Can word salad show up as a narcissistic flee? Of course it can. Yes, it's not just like all of the things that a narcissistic person does. Anyone can do. I'm sure we're all guilty of a little word salad once in a while when we don't want to take accountability for something, or when we don't want to deal with something, or when we feel attacked and accused and we're innocent, and sometimes over explaining from a codependent person or a survivor of abuse like this, who feels the need to say sorry all the time and over explain themselves, can feel a little like word salad, because it's like, can you just stop and listen? You're fine. You're not guilty of anything. But it's not the same thing, because they're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to, make themselves feel like they're okay, and they're starting to panic, right? And also, yes, it can be a flea. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that talking around, like Jack, you're saying there, and I think that talking around something can be just a sort of a mixy kind of communication style that isn't direct. And maybe we all do it, right? This is different. This is done deliberately to confuse the situation, or not. If not deliberately, it's done manipulatively, and maybe even subconsciously they do it to control a situation that they don't want to deal with, or that they're trying to get information out of you, or trying to provoke you. So I've seen it all three ways. A lot of it I see is provocation. If you're doing that, Jack, and you're not trying to provoke someone, that's just sort of, what's the word I want to use there? That's more like you're attacked for talking that way. I know. And there's something to learning to be more concise, right? It's hard to always be that way, though, when it just comes out of our mouth. That's a different situation, though, because I think that what you're saying there is that you talk all the way around something, like maybe bring in everything. I'm not clear about this, but passive communication. Say more, Angela. Masking can be really exhausting. Well, yeah, and I think it's like, well, that's another topic. So let's talk about that another time, because I need to end in a second here, because I'm trying to keep these at 30 minutes or under, just for the sake of timing. And but yeah, we should talk about that, how it is different. What you're talking about there is not necessarily word salad. It's more just like rambling. Is that right? Like a rambling conversation. Word salad is not rambling. Word salad is deliberate accusations, attacks. You could hear the words in there that made it sound more like gaslighting, as opposed to just somebody that is a big talker and doesn't get to the point, or someone that gets really tangential. Some personalities just are more like, they see everything, or, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Like they get distracted while they're talking. That's not word salad. That's just being distracted. Word salad is, it's almost aggressive, right? It's, oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Yes, Angela. More, he's describing more passive communication, and he's also describing a mind that gets fixated on a topic, and so he starts to talk about everything about that topic, when the person really only had a question about only this little piece. And so it gets to be a whole lot of words around a topic. That's not word salad. That's just sort of over explaining, right? And that's different. And yes, a narcissist can use over explaining to make you feel stupid, but that's different than someone who just naturally does that, because that's the way their mind thinks. They're not trying to he's not trying to manipulate people with the over explaining. Word salad is manipulation, and you can feel it. You feel frustrated by it. You feel you don't get to express anything. The other person refuses and gets away with things because of the word salad. So that's a totally different thing, right? Yes, and the intention is totally different. Okay, I ramble too. We all, it's not the quantity of words. It's the words being used and the intention behind them, and the diversion and avoidance that's being used by a toxic person, that makes it the word salad. Okay. Okay, I am going to have to head out, and I will see you guys later this week. I'm not sure what day. Hopefully I'll be on with Angie too this week later. So take care, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.